Hey everyone, it's Tammy. I'm actually filling some orders, and it just occurred to me that I was going to ask a really quick question, and that is, what if I said that addiction and autism are actually related to immune issues, and which stems from the the differences within our the immune complex called the MHC. This is something that they've identified that occurred. There was an imprint that occurred back in the early 1300s during the time of the Black Plague. And I just find it interesting. And this is actually one of the things that I've been working with people on, is really helping to modulate the immune system. Not stimulate and not depress or suppress, but actually modulate the immune system. And I'm doing this with both addiction and autism because this is really where I see the imbalance is beginning. Well, I don't want to say really beginning, but kind of filtering in from, because there's also another genetic complex called the FOXP2 gene that we've identified that's linked to our speech and language, but subsequent studies have demonstrated that it does regulate, it is a transcription factor, and it does regulate our chemistry, and which is an important piece of the way the brain develops. And we already know that with autism, it shows activation in different parts of the brain. We've seen this with ADHD, we've seen it in schizophrenia, and we also know that the definition of addiction basically is that there are certain substances that create, there's many substances that actually alter the brain structure. They linked it to the mesolimbic dopaminergic pathway, and the claim is that addiction alters this pathway, thereby giving someone the diagnosis essentially of addiction. The interesting thing about it is I'm not aware of any studies at this point that actually point out whether that alteration has occurred prior to addiction or the addictive behaviors and substance uses. But we do know, like I say, that with autism, and with other ones, we've seen in brain imaging the activation in different parts of the brain. Now, how does it have anything to do with the immune system? Well, let me let you know this. I work with, like I said, autism, I work with schizophrenia, I work with autoimmune, addiction, and the interesting thing about it is, depending on who the doctor is and what the actual symptoms are, many people get placed on an opiate. And the intriguing part to me is that endorphins are considered opiates. They are produced in the immune cells. Thereby, my theory that this is an immune issue doesn't mean, like I said, it doesn't mean that it's overactive or underactive. It just means that there's an imbalance. And that's really where I come from, is supporting the imbalance. Now, I realize there's a lot of testing going on now these days with regards to MTHFR and other genetic defects. And there's a lot of push for taking medications and nutraceuticals in order to offset these defects. I don't necessarily agree that they're all causing problems, because the one thing that I do know, and Sir Isaac Newton said it best, and that is for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction. So at some point in the body, when there is an upset in our own estrogen and testosterone and other chemicals that our body produces, can inactivate a gene for a number of reasons, in which case the body is going to do something else somewhere else. This is exactly what happened during the time of the plague. So many people were dying, and they have identified through the Human Genome Project a particular imprint that occurred that has never changed. Now, subsequently, in the last 800 years, we have been inundated with toxins and technology and stress and you name it, and the immune system is just really having a hard time keeping up. Therefore, there's a lot of activations going on in order to sustain the individual. So there is no one size fits all. I don't agree with megadosing. My theory is that all worlds can work together, but it takes collaboration, and it takes identification as to what the individual is doing and using and going through. Like I said, I like to think of myself as bridging the gap, but I don't agree with megadosing. And I completely agree with simpler is better. Now, here's the thing. Not everybody's going to go along with what I say, and that's perfectly okay. But I'm putting this out there because it is working with those who are willing. I have people who don't like swallowing pills. I have people who do take medications, but they want to improve and enhance their body and their wellness. So they include other things, but that's where it gets kind of touchy, because at that point you need to understand which herbs and which oils you're using, as well as supplements, and how it is complementing and not contradicting what you're doing. And this is, again, something that I step in and provide, because it's an absolute necessary thing if we're really wanting to restore wellness. I do this a lot with a lot of autism families. I've got kids that have been on, and believe it or not, I've done a lot of work with people overseas in other countries that have been working with children who have been taking these opiates and other pain and sleep medications. And we don't have to go to that extreme. There is a balance, like I say, and being able to help people overcome the imbalance is really where I'm at. And so, that being said, I do a lot of international consults. I will do personal consults. I will provide product, as I'm doing here. I'm filling some orders. I do have what I call a virtual apothecary. That way you get the most simplest formulations. I don't agree with a lot of ingredients, because the more you introduce to the body, the more work it has to do. But given the right instructions, which is what very specific oils will do and I say specific meaning for the individual, they will actually accentuate the genetic function or modify a genetic function so that it actually takes up the correct nutrients, thereby offsetting a lot of symptoms and restoring balance to the neuroendocrine system. This is where I believe everything kind of falls. And histamine is part of the neuroendocrine system. It is a major component in our immune system, hence the MHC stands for Major Histocompatibility Complex. And through a series of genetic sequences, histamine has a big role. And if your histamine is out of balance, everything else is going to start to fall out of balance, because, as I said, the body is seeking to restore balance. And so it will turn different genes off in order to try to reset. The sad part about it is, and this goes into everything that we're exposed to, like I said, our levels of stress, the foods that we eat, and our daily activities will alter how our body reacts. And when we end up with symptoms, and I don't know, I think I know more people with health issues than not. And when I say health issues, I don't necessarily mean anything significant. This could be just, hyper, allergies. This could be rashes like psoriasis or eczema. Yes, they do get worse. I mean, high blood pressure is another one. So it can start minimal and then just kind of increases. But again, like I said, I don't know very many people that don't have something going on with them, which is highly indicative of the imbalance in the immune system. So helping people to kind of come back into balance and beginning at that level, there's a lot of talk about digestion and helping the digestive system, and I used to teach digestive wellness, and digestion takes more than just working with the gut. It also helps, you have to work with the body and help it assimilate the nutrients on a cellular level. And that's the reason why I like the oils, because that's exactly what they do. And they don't heal. The only thing that heals the body is the body itself. And so you can actually provide the correct instructions and include it with, with the medications. Again, cross-referencing everything, include it with herbs and supplements, again, cross-referencing everything. It doesn't mean that you're going to come off of anything. It's on you as the patient/client to make those determinations alongside your physician and your other practitioners. But these are the things that are very important, and less is more. Mega dosing is done. We don't need to be doing that. The body, like I said, when you start providing too much, and you're giving the body too much, it doesn't know what to do with it, and it'll just kind of start backfiring on you. So when you work with me, like I said, I have a virtual apothecary. You get the most simplest, and that apothecary includes your herbal teas, some tinctures, and essential oils. And then I provide also a lot of nutritional suggestions because I've studied the science of nutrition and the chemistry of foods. So providing you with as much information as possible so that you can make the most informed decisions. So anyway, I just wanted to kind of run that by you and let you know that my philosophy is that, especially, well, any health issue, but there's like a lot of focus these days on autism and addiction. Those are two of my main focuses. Is really centered around the immune system and restoring balance to the entire neuroendocrine system, supporting it as best I can, helping to bridge the gap between all practitioners and making sure that you and your family members and friends get exactly what you need to maintain and sustain good health. Anyway, here's to you. Have a great day. It was great talking with you. I look forward to talking with you again. Bye now.